All right, everybody ready for this? The last hour, I guess, left in our day for the presentations today. Excited to see everybody here. I'm Brian Murphy. I'm a partner with Lawley Benefits Group here in Buffalo. First, I want to say what a great job everybody has done putting this event together, and to our folks in our wellness department, fantastic job. I'm glad we participated. Thanks very much for making that happen. I've been with Lawley for almost 17, right around 17 years, and I've seen our role in wellness really evolved quite a bit to where we kind of talked about it, and we would have those, do you remember those events where there would be the balloons and, the wellness fairs, and to now the programs that we're talking about today have come so far, and so it's great to see, and I think, our wellness team is really doing a lot of good to help our clients out, so it's awesome to see that. And the other thing I was a little confused by, we have 35% utilization in our EAP. What is going on at Lawley? Our people are stressed out. We gotta talk about that. So what I wanted to do today is just kind of have a nice conversation with the three folks to my left, talk about what they're doing on their corporate wellness plans, get a really good idea of what's working for them, maybe what's not working, and at the same time, once we're done with the conversation, we want to open it up to questions with you folks to see what types of questions you have. So I'm going to start off and just say a little bit about everybody, and then ask you specifically what you're doing within your organization for wellness, and anything you want to add on about your company as well. So I'm going to start with you, Lauren. Lauren is the CEO of Dixon Schwabel. They're a full-service marketing and communication firm with 125 employees. So you work with provide oversight for 200 clients. You're named one of the best small companies to work for in America, ranked #1 in marketing firm to work for in America, and PR News named Dixon Schwabel one of the top places to work in 2010, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So those are great accomplishments. So Lauren, tell us a little bit about what you're doing on the wellness front.
Okay, so can everybody hear me? At Dixon Schwabel, we have a wellness team. It's called Workplace WOW, and that team is assigned every single month to figure out unique and interesting things to do in the area of wellness. We're huge on culture, as you just talked about. It's my #1 job. More than 50% of my time is spent on culture, and wellness is a really, really big piece to that. One of the programs that we do is called Weight Loss for Wellness. 75% of our team members participate in this program. A person comes in each week and weighs everyone, also gets a BMI and all the numbers associated with it. And so the goal isn't necessarily so much to lose weight, but to tone and just become healthier and take control of one's numbers. So that's a big program. It's been very, very successful. The first 6 months of that program, a team of I think there's 80 team members, lost over 340 pounds, or 3 college interns, however you want to look at it. But those are some of the things. But the big thing for me is not to create the wellness programs myself or anyone on my managing partner team. Everything is created within the company. Everyone's idea is valued and assessed. We have teams, I think we have more teams than the Olympics, I swear to God, where there is yoga, baseball, bowling, skiing, bocce, Wii bowling. It just goes on and on and on, and really anything goes, but it's gotta be born from within our organization. And then we have other things going on. We have a slide that goes from floor to floor. Why? Because we want to engage our team members, again, part of our culture. We used to have a padded primal scream room, but unfortunately, because of our growth, we had to turn it into an office. But that's the first thing that's coming back. And people used it. Clients came to use it, and it worked. Literally, I don't know if you've ever done it, but go home, lock yourself in a room, and scream tonight. You're going to feel like $1 million. So those are just some of the things that we do at Dixon Schwabel.
Great, that sounds awesome. I should try that a little bit more. I usually get screamed at, so I'm going to try screaming back.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll help. Okay, I'll work on that.
Absolutely.
All right, Eric, you're the president of SMP. SMP was founded in 1997. You provide solutions for clients in areas such as data center, networking, and end-user computing. So, IT firm, something like that, I would say. Okay, good. You were named Inc. magazine to the list of 5,000 fastest-growing companies in America 5 times in 10 years. So that's fantastic. 2017 Top Workplaces D&C Digital, and New York State Best Companies to Work For in 2018. That's a great list as well. What I really caught was kind of interesting about your bio was the participates in the Brock Yates One Lap of America, formerly known as the Cannonball Run. So if you're my age, maybe a little bit older, you remember the movie Cannonball Run. So then I had to go online to see, is this really the same thing that we're talking about? And it is. So maybe you could talk about your wellness. If you had 2 seconds at the end, tell us about the Cannonball Run thing too, because I thought that was interesting. But love to hear about what you're doing on the wellness end.
So we started our wellness program 5 years ago, and something to note is when we did bring on Nikki, our wellness director, she was employee number 48, and that was pretty much unheard of for a company of our size to have a dedicated wellness director helping us plan our way. We have a very vibrant culture. We promote lots of activities throughout the school year, throughout the year, and Nikki helps drive a variety of programs so that people can feel involved. A lot of the things that you find in terms of engaging employees as well as in management is you have to have something in particular that engages them on their own personal side. So we have yoga, massage, we have a tiki bar, we have a basketball court, weight room, we do we promote any triathlon or any sort of sporting activity that an employee would like to do. We're promoting it. I pay for your entry fee. We show up in our SMP RV, and we have a good time doing it as a team. So really looking to promote the team. We have a saying at SMP that happy, healthy people make for a happy, healthy business, and that's really shown. So New York State Best Companies to Work For was actually 2017 and 2018, and the DNC Top Workplaces was the last 4 years running.
Great. All right. That's awesome. Next, we have Ben Harp, COO at Polymer Conversions. Interesting thing about Polymer Conversions is that they actually started off making Kermit the Frog eyes and kazoos. Right. Is that correct? That's right. Okay, little tidbit. Now you focus on something a little different, critical to life thermoplastic-based applications. I don't know what that is, but it sounds really important. I'm glad you do that. Polymer is recognized as an industry-leading contract manufacturer of healthcare-related components and devices, and under Ben's leadership has grown from $5 million to $20 million in revenue. Really important thing I noticed on Ben's bio is that he has a Master of Business Administration and Bachelor's of Science in Mathematics from Canisius, also Canisius alum, so go Griffs. And Ben is the founder and president of the Healthy Manufacturer Trust of New York State, which is a health consortium providing health insurance to, what do you have, 8 different manufacturers within your trust now? Great. So Ben, what are you guys doing on the wellness front?
So again, I'm Ben Harp, COO. I'd like to just first recognize their accomplishments, Eric and Lauren. It's nice to be up here with them. I would like to say that there was one other accomplishment that I had, and my mom said that I'm her favorite child, so just there was no room in the bio for that. Yes, I'm the president of Healthy Manufacturers. That's a MIWA trust. We work in that consortium with 7 other terrific manufacturing companies in the area, Harper, Casey Machine. There's others probably in the room, but those are the 2 sitting next to me that I saw. And what we do, what I'll talk about is the best practice sharing of what they do at Harper, at Casey, at Polymer, and the fact that we have the ability to share and help cross-pollinate the good ideas that each other are doing in wellness so that we can maximize the benefit to our employees. So it's the benefit of being in the consortium to bounce ideas, frustrations, things that work well, things that don't work well, so that we maximize the opportunity for our employees.
Great. Okay, well, let's move on to some other questions. I'm going to start off asking both Eric and Lauren this question. You know, as both of you are owners of the organization, what made you buy into the concept of wellness? If you think about it from a global perspective, we talk mostly from a health insurance standpoint. We want to save our clients money on health insurance. But I don't always think that's the main motivating factor. So I'd be interested to hear, Lauren, if you could maybe start off. What made you buy into the concept of corporate wellness?
When I started the company about 30 years ago, one of the things that I did, because I had never taken a business course, I contacted 30 CEOs and wanted to understand from them what they loved about their current advertising agency relationship. And then I reached out to 30 employees of other advertising agencies and wanted to get an idea about what they loved about their employer and what are the 3 things that really bugged them. From that intelligence, the things that we began incorporating at Dixon Schwabel right from the get-go was the culture piece and the wellness piece and the philanthropy piece, because that's what people were saying. I wanna, work hard, but I also want to give back to the community, and I also want to, stay healthy while I'm at work. And so those are the 3 things that we incorporated. I think the other thing is when we go through the Great Place to Work Institute survey every year, that's, again, what shows up. And now, today, we have 52% of our workforce. They're millennials, right? And what do they want? Oh, their pants are on fire as it relates to wellness and culture and philanthropy. And the only way that we're going to keep them is by continuing this initiative and putting them in charge of it. So that's why we do it.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Eric, same question to you. What kind of brought you to the point where you wanted to implement some wellness programs for your company?
Well, when we started in '97, I always had the mindset that if you treated people properly in the way you treated them, that you wanted to be treated yourself, that it would make a much better workplace. And in 1999, we had 8 employees, and I created our first President's Club trip. And from that year now, we are on, I think, the 18th year. In 3 weeks, we'll be taking 60 people to Negril, Jamaica for our President's Club trip. So each year, we continue to grow and to continue to grow, to give back and really incorporate people's buy-in into the business. But along the way, we also realized that and came about with the saying of happy, healthy people make for a happy, healthy business. And you need to have that buy-in. You need to have people engaged on a much different and varying levels than just coming to work.
Okay. One thing I'll warn you about Negril is that they actually have a place where they do cliff diving, so make sure your employees don't jump. They're up about 100 feet in trees diving in.
Rick's Cafe.
You know it.
We've been there.
Yeah, exactly. So just make sure that your employees don't do that. That would be anti-wellness. All right, Ben. So you're in a little different situation. You're not the owner, and I know the owners of Polymer. Did you get any pushback when you wanted to go down this path? Because your wellness plan's a little bit more invasive than most. So did you get any pushback from ownership from that perspective?
No pushback from our ownership. Our ownership has been terrific, very involved in the community, the Birch family. Really appreciate the opportunity that they provide all of us at the company. I think the pushback comes when you think about manufacturers and the connotation earlier, Joe Lunch Bucket. I kind of self-identify as that. It's a difficult group. They're hard to penetrate. They're used to coming in, clocking in, and then clocking out. So it's the ability to connect with them in a way that gets them involved in our wellness programs. And so for us, it's been that challenge. And I find that good leadership is important, but I think it's flipping the pyramid upside down and getting the involvement of the employees, even at the production line, with our company and our member companies to run our wellness initiatives.
So just to follow, because I was going to ask you a question later on, but I think it's more appropriate now. So no pushback from ownership, but I would think in a manufacturer, when you start talking about doing biometric screenings and things like that, you're going to get some major pushback from the guys on the line. Want to talk a little bit about that? How you made it through that? What some of the hesitations from your employee base was?
Yeah, I mean, that's excellent. It's trust, it's communication. I think that's the leadership piece. It's getting in front of them early and often. One of the benefits of being in the trust is that we plan and meet all year around initiatives, not only on our wellness committee for the trust, but as trustees of healthy manufacturers, the leaderships of those companies get together, and we plan what we want to do for our employees and for our healthcare of our employees. So it allows us to plan and then communicate early and often.
Great. What kind of participation are you getting or are you expecting out of the guys?
Well, we share shift premium for their involvement. So when they get involved with the healthcare screening, immediately there's a premium shift for them. So
Okay.
it gets them involved immediately.
Great. Lauren, what support has your organization provided to employees to engage? To that end, are you doing anything incentive-wise on the medical premium, or just plain incentives, or just company culture?
A lot of it is company culture. We have had incentives as it relates to the weight loss for wellness program, whereby the person who's interested in losing weight would get it, who lost the greatest amount of weight, or there are different criteria, they would get prizes. And my team is super, super competitive. And when we broke up into teams, my team was the green team. And the green team was so competitive, they were conniving. They wanted to put all these like potassium and all this stuff in everybody else's cottage cheese. They also went to Dunkin' Donuts, bought them donuts for the other teams. I'm like, you guys, come on, this is just darn right mean. But our team was very, very competitive. So we gave out a lot of prizes and gift certificates and things of that nature, but we've not gone that other way. And that's why I was so interested in hearing what others are doing today. Very interesting.
Great. So we're not at the audience participation part yet, but I already have a question from the audience, and that is, could you keep your microphones a little closer so everybody can hear you? So thank you very much for that. Eric, how have your results been? Are you guys tracking results? I mean, how's your wellness program going? Do you think it's doing what you want it to?
We don't track monetarily any results. What I would say is our retention level and our recruiting, it has been greatly enhanced by this. Our turnover is very low. We hardly ever lose people, and in the technology industry, that is something where everyone is poaching everyone else all the time. And our culture and our teamwork, and people leave companies, people don't leave people. And the culture and the wellness program help interact and connect the people together in a way that makes a better team.
Right. And Lauren, you mentioned, millennials, and I think we're all going to be faced with that, is that kind of shift naturally occurs, where I think it becomes an expectation. Wouldn't you all agree that, as from millennials' perspective, that's an expectation that you have as part of your benefit package?
It's an entitlement.
It's an entitlement. You want to comment any further on that, Lauren?
Yeah, I love millennials. I have to tell you, I had to learn how to manage millennials. And what I love so much about them is that while they want things that me as a baby boomer did not want, I think what you get back from them, like texting me at midnight or Saturday morning or having a brilliant idea Sunday afternoon and they text me, I love that. But they work constantly. Their brains are always on. And so it took me a while to figure out how to manage them appropriately. I no longer bang my head against the wall. I don't. I love them. And I wish I had more of them. And I will have more of them because you just saw actually, you know what, in advertising it's higher. In advertising, the expectation is that 75% of millennials will be in our business by 2020, not 2030. So it's taking over our world by leaps and bounds. And so I've worked very hard to try to figure out how to manage them. And again, I love them. I wish I had more of them.
Great. Ben, you got any millennials?
Yeah, I have three sitting table about four rows back. But love millennials. I have to back up, though. I am a Generation X, loves Peter Pan peanut butter, and I unfortunately ate all of my cookie at lunchtime. So that's who I am. But I self-identify, though, as a millennial. I like to hear their input. It's disruptive in a way that it's not a negative adjective, it's a positive adjective. It's a thought-provoking input. So at first it catches you, but if you actually think about it and weigh the pros and cons, it's very thought-provoking. And so it's very important to have them in our organization, and thank you for coming, you guys.
That's great. And by the way, that lunch was fantastic. I did question the cookie until my wellness team started eating it, and I'm like, you know what? If they are, I'm going to. What the heck? So that was good. Thank you for doing that, Carly. Made me feel better. So this is just a general question, and I can tell you, having been involved with implementing many wellness plans over the years with my clients, I've seen a lot of this. And so have you guys seen any life-changing or even saving, or have you had any life-changing or saving stories that you'd like to share with the group? And I'll just go right down the line. Lauren?
So my life-saving, I have two, actually. My husband did not know his numbers. And thank goodness for Mark Natali from the American Heart Association, because he came in and did a lunch and learn and also did the biometric screening. And so the nurse who was conducting this thought that the pressure thing was not working on my husband because it was like off the Richter scale, right? And so she went over to his other arm and she looked at him and her face kind of went white and she said, "Call your doctor right now and leave, start driving." And so he said, "What are you talking about?" And she said, you are a heart attack waiting to happen." And sure enough, he was a heart attack waiting to happen, and began Lipitor immediately and had some dietary changes. And so he's A-OK today, but thank God for that. One of my colleagues right over there, Justin Shaw, over this last year has been working diligently, and he has lost 95 pounds. Woohoo! I am so proud of him and his hard work. It is pretty incredible. So those are my two awesome stories.
That's great. Ben, you have anything?
I don't have a life-saving, but I think the awesome story that I'll mention is the fact that it's brought our employees together around mutual programming. It's helped them get to know each other, work together better, and so it's just the positive impact it's had on our culture.
I wouldn't say I have one personally, but I do have an employee that's been with us for 15 years. And up until 2 years ago, he was a chain smoker. And through the help of Nikki and some other people in support, he went cold turkey and he's not smoked since. So
That's great.
he has an app on his phone that tracks it. I don't know where it is at the moment, but it's thousands of cigarettes that he has not smoked.
Saved a lot of money. So that financial wellness we talked about as well, probably very, very helpful from that perspective. It is amazing because we at Lolly, when we're getting involved in doing these things, I hear stories all the time of people that, similar to what Lauren was saying, where they took somebody directly to the hospital because of blood pressure, or, they found out that they had diabetes, and even to the point where we had an abnormal blood reading, and the client found out that they did have an early stage of cancer that was able to be cured, where if they would have waited, they wouldn't. So, my message on that is always, I know it takes a lot of time to set up these programs, but many times they're worth it, and I know you guys are a testament to that, so thank you. Is anybody sharing any data with insurance vendors, with your brokers? I know Ben, you are to a certain extent. Are you using any data to help in other aspects of your business with your tying your wellness plans into anything else?
No, but I learned I should today, so
Okay.
I'm getting on it.
Same.
Same? Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to fold the card too. Same.
All right. Okay. Well, that's an easy question, or maybe it was a bad question, my fault. So this is more directed to Eric and Lauren, but I'm sure Ben can speak to this. As I mentioned in both your bios, your companies have won multiple employer engagement awards, and it sounds like to me, based on what we've talked about, wellness plays a part in that aspect of it. So can you maybe talk about how important employee engagement is to the success of your company, and how wellness is a very important part to that?
It's hugely important to us. Our retention and attraction, it has just been life-changing for us. I speak a lot at the Great Place to Work Institute across the country. They're based in San Francisco. Those are the folks who implement the Great Place to Work survey. And when I speak to people across the country, in a room like this, half of the people are smiling and they're shaking their heads and I'm speaking to them, they're getting it. The other half, they've got their arms folded and they're scowling and they're not buying one thing I'm saying. So after many years of this, it was about 5 years ago, I went back to Rochester and I was talking to my CFO and I said, what is going on? What's up with those people? And he said, you know who those people are? I said, no. He goes, me. They want data. They want numbers. And I said, I don't have any of those. And he said, but I think I do. So he went, and this was profound for our company. So he went back, and over a 3-year period, our job applications grew by 242%. This was the year that we were ranked #1 the first time. And then our college internship applications grew by 126%. Why is that important? Because 32% of all of our full-time folks were our former college interns. That's important. We get to test drive them for 3 months. We get to test their talent, and we get to test if they're going to fit in to our culture. The other thing that happened was we had double-digit profit increases every year for 3 years. Our productivity went sky high, and our profitability went sky high. And so those are the things that matter. And so when I'm talking to other leaders around the country, I throw my data in there from now on because it does make a really big difference to some leaders who think this, wellness and culture, it's like the soft stuff. No, it is not the soft stuff. It is the important stuff because it makes a difference when you are interviewing somebody and the person is being interviewed by 5 companies and they don't have a wellness program and they don't pay attention to culture, but you do. Guess what? You're going to win every day, all day. So it's real important for us.
Great. Eric, same with you, same question to you. You know, the whole culture piece is so important, and does the wellness fit into that and the employee engagement, and how does it affect other aspects of your business?
Well, I think with the recruitment and the retaining of talent is huge. I think what we've found too is that as we've grown to about 95 people, it creates a stress within the organization of people communicating interdepartmentally and having people who say, okay, that's finance. So when you're a 20 or 30 person company, it's very easy to get to know everyone within the organization and talk across boundaries. But as you put layers of management and more people in, you start losing that connection. So we have multiple workouts throughout the week. We have all of these different things. We have gardens that a group of employees get together and they tend to it, and we have we have veggies that we then give out to the employees. You find finance working with inside sales support. You have inside sales support working with CFO. So these people start getting to know each other, and it breaks down the boundaries and starts building a communication line so that you can have better communication.
So it's interesting. You just brought up finance, and so I wonder, you know, how that works, because I know every so often we get a little pushback from finance wanting to have a budget, set a budget for wellness. So are you setting? Do you have a defined budget line or an area within your budget where you're putting wellness?
Well, as the owner and primary driver,
You don't get the same pushback?
No, I see no pushback. Nikki is one of the few people in the organization that reports directly to me, right? So we have a free floating budget, I'll call it. It's a very fluid thing through the year, and it allows us to say, hey, this doesn't work, we're not going to do it anymore, or hey, what about this? Let's go, and we are continually speaking with each other, whether it's in a group or between Nikki and I, on what can we do. Here's what it's going to cost. What do you think the give back is, or what do we get back from it? So I personally like the fact that Nikki and I can run untethered, and
Right.
It allows people to get a better variety and also lower the turnaround and the cycle of getting things implemented.
Interesting. So, it's funny because we always, you listen to Welcoa and some of the other organizations and the experts, they always say you need to start at the top to build a culture of wellness. And listening to you talk is exactly why you need to start at the top to get a culture of wellness so those things
You
don't.
have to have the buy-in from the top
Yep.
for it to succeed.
Without a doubt.
And you also need to be willing to go out on a limb and stick your neck out there and wait for the results, because the results might not be immediate.
Right. So Ben, you're maybe in a little different situation. You COO, is there a CFO that's kind of saying, hey, we can't do as much this year on wellness? You get a little bit of that interaction going?
Yeah, I have a really good CFO that's really good with numbers and reminds me of that. But no, we don't have a budget at Polymer Conversions for our wellness program. Our wellness committee really drives it, and to be honest, majority of their ideas that they're bringing forth are really just individual involvement that requires no money. It's the sweat equity, the involvement and participation of our employees. So it's kind of special.
It's great. So one of the more interesting aspects of a corporate wellness plan is you see all these folks at work every day, and you can affect some change during those 8 or so hours that they're with you, but then the rest of the time they're home with their family. So, we want to encourage it not only for the employee, but for their spouse. And so is anybody doing anything in particular to help engage spouses as well throughout your programs? Lauren?
Well, tonight we are, as a matter of fact. We do a lot with team members on the weekends with family walks, and tonight we're doing a bowling thing at Radio Social in Rochester, and it's to raise money for the American Heart Association walk that is coming up. And so our goal was to get 60 people, spouses, kids, whatever. And tonight, I think we have 148 people. And so just tonight, in 1 hour, we'll be able to raise about, I think the number's $2,200 that will go towards our team. So we try to engage them all the time. We have trick-or-treating throughout the agency, and we let everybody go home, grab their kids, and come back, and of course have healthy treats, right? Some not so healthy though, but we do that, and we believe in it, and every opportunity we get, we engage the families for sure.
Great. Either of you two like to comment on engaging spouses in wellness programs, doing anything?
Well, this spring, the hospice walk down here on Canal Side, we're sponsoring our employees to be involved, but also their significant other or partner, and we'll be sponsoring that. And so it's involvement here down in the city for a good cause, and involving, again, our employees and their families.
It's kind of interesting. You're mixing, with wellness, employee engagement, and philanthropy all together. It sounds like everybody's doing it. I know, Eric, you guys do some things. It's not called the Ride for Roswell in Rochester. It's another bike.
Oh, we have the Tour to Cure. We
Yeah,
also we are involved in the Ride for Roswell here. In any event that we do have like that, spouses are invited.
Outstanding.
Children.
All right, so for our last question before we get into the audience portion here, so what, if you could give the audience one takeaway or one item that they should consider, we would love to hear from each of you. What would that one piece of advice be to the audience? So, Lauren, we'll start with you.
If your leaders are hesitant to get involved in a really robust wellness program, do some research. There's tons of research out there that addresses how much more productive and profitable an organization will be if that organization really promotes wellness and health and attention on culture.
Great. Ben?
I think it's the message that everyone has a responsibility for their own wellness, and so you can't preach, but you have to include and involve everyone. They have a responsibility to themselves and to the rest of their team.
Great. Eric?
Engage the top level leadership and get them involved at every level. Go find their interests, see what makes them, what drives them, see what makes them happy, and start and try to incorporate that into your program, and then talk to them about being involved and being present, and also talking about it and having high visibility within the organization that they are aware of it, they're involved in it, and they're supporting it.